What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Sorry for the music in the background. I'm trying to chase a little bit of sunshine here. I have to do this one now. Yes, the Packers and the Buccaneers game is not over. It's not over till it's over. We always know that. And I left Pluckers from over there. Actually, not Pluckers, it's Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm sorry. And Tom Brady is the special sauce. Now you're gonna say, Erica, what does this have to do with business? This is a business channel. I'm gonna tell you, 2021 is the year of the free agent, right? But not this mess that you hear online that these sad puppies are out here promoting to you. And I want to be very clear. Tom Brady's the special sauce. So is several of the people on the team, right? But really, Tom Brady's the special sauce. And everybody has something special. Now, this isn't going to be one of those things where, like, you're a special snowflake. No, everybody has something in particular that is special about them. Okay, let me clarify. Let me clarify for y'all get on me. But this is the deal. This is the deal. People want to know what your special sauce is. What makes you different? A lot of times I watch Kevin Samuels several channels. I watch all kind of people's channels. The first thing they say is, "Oh, that's average. This person's average, whatever." And we have to really wake up and realize a lot of these people, these men folk, are average as well, right? Now, I was watching this one channel, and this guy's advocating for people to go overseas. Kevin Samuels and several of the actual men channels have already said, if you make 50K a year, you talking about something that's in La La Land. You're talking in fantasy land that you're going to go overseas and get somebody. Because if you make under 50K, it's probably a job you got to come back to do. You can't just leave it and be overseas living the best life, right? And at some point, either you just paying for ladies' time or you bringing her back with you. Now, what's the special sauce when you go overseas? It's your money. It's not you. It's your money. Okay, I remember going to school here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. There was a guy, he was 6'7", dumb as a rock, ugly as a bear's butt. Nothing about him was special except for the fact that he was 6'7". And he went on, if I say his name, y'all know who I'm talking about, but be careful. He went on to play basketball in the state of North Carolina and overseas. He was tall. He could play basketball. That's all that mattered. That was his special sauce. Okay, and the crazy thing is, I remember this girl was dating him, and people were like, "Girl, he ugly," and she was like, "He's so tall, it doesn't matter." Like, she was just so hyped about him being tall. That was it. None of the other stuff even mattered. That was his special sauce, whether he knew it or not. Okay? Everybody has something about them that's special, but you have a sea of people out here who are under 5'9", don't make a lot of money. Their conversation ain't really loaded with great information. Okay, what is your special sauce? Do you see what I'm saying? If you are below 5'10", you're average. You ain't super muscular. You ain't got 12 abs. You don't make a ton of money. What's your special sauce? And you have to determine what your special sauce is. Ain't nobody can tell you. You have to determine it. But I've been in rooms with people who, at a distance, nothing stood out about them. But then you start getting conversation with them, and it was like, ooh, conversation, right? Trying to be careful here. I'm in my hometown, and what I realized is when the CV-19 hit, a lot of businesses had to get up to snuff. They had to show you what their special sauce was for you to come in. They needed to show you what their special sauce was. And I'm going all around town, and they have these big stickers on the windows where people have put their business website. And what I learned is a lot of these people just started a website now. Right when 2020, this whole thing happened in March, that's when they started their website. What I've learned, and I've talked to Salesforce people as well, and a couple other people who work for Yelp, that a lot of times they'll call businesses that have been up for 5-10 years, just kind of winging it. No real online presence, not a lot of pictures, not a lot of things to make it stand out, right? And so that's why there's always a business for it. Because let's just be honest, if there's 31 million small businesses out there and 25, I think it's like 24 million, or a little bit more, 24.5 or something like that million are one person owned business, one person can only do so much. One person can only advertise so many places before they start having to use what? Ads, Google ads, online marketing, all that other stuff. Only one person can only do so much. And so, what you learned in 2021, and what many of you are going to learn, is that you're free agents. You can go anywhere. You can go do anything. The internet's opened up a lot of pathways for y'all to win. So the argument that, hey, I couldn't find no job in this town, people are not going to hear that no more. They're not even going to give you the time of day to let you complain. They're going to say, why didn't you get on the computer? Why aren't you online? Why aren't you on LinkedIn? Right? I heard a cousin talk about LinkedIn the other day, and this kid never uses a computer, and it cracked me up because I'm like, even he knows at some point, you got to get on that internet. Right? Now, there will always be people, Hispanic community and otherwise, that don't even use computers like that. They out here just, construction work, show up, do the job, take some pictures, show you they work, and keep it moving. You'll have some of that, but there'll be a large segment of people who are trying to get their foot in the door. The pictures and the social proof is what gets you there. I talk about Middleman in the Millions course all the time because I'm seeing on a larger level, and I'm not going to step on anybody's toes, but I see people who something happened in their business. They had to fall back to their old business that they didn't even like no more and made $1 million off of it. Why? Because sometimes the things that you're good at, like if you're really good at one thing, that's what people know you for. That's your special sauce, right? I've seen people who didn't even want to be real estate agents no more, but people still call on their phones, and they made a ton of money last year. Why? Because so many people were moving to Texas, so many people were moving to Houston. She was like making money, and she was sad about it. I'm like, you don't want to be a real estate agent that bad? She's like, no, I'm just tired of it. But made a big old stacks on stacks on stacks. So you have to learn what your special sauce is. If you don't want this one particular thing to be your special sauce anymore, you're going to have to work really hard to show people you have a different special sauce. Does that make sense? Tom Brady, was in his feelings ever since the draft, and he left. Do you know what I'm saying? He left the North to the South. Sure, I'll take my talents to Tampa. It's a symbolic thing as much as it is America. Americans right now are running from New York and running from California. And I get it. A lot of y'all in here like, Erica, stop talking about New York. Stop talking about California. Stop it. I have to. Because 120,000 people showed up in Houston last year. And people like, where's all these people coming from? Because they're getting out of their space because they realize in California, there aren't the special sauce. Or as some of the men channels say, they're a Idaho 5. They're a LA 4, but a Texas 7. You know what I'm saying? They're a, they're a New York 4, but they're a South Carolina 7. You know what I mean? Like they have to move and take their talents to where they can be received. Right? And this is part of the stuff people are not calculating is they'll move to a new city, new state, and they can't afford to come back home. So they get homesick and come back. If you have not planned in your budget some flights for home that you can buy 6 months in advance, that you go home once every other month on a flight on a weekend, you broke. You're broke. It cost me $118 to fly to Fayetteville from Austin round trip, but I got to do it in advance. I just got to buy it in advance. If I wait to the last minute, it's a $400 ticket, right? People don't want to hear that part because that requires them to plan and take some money and then go over there. Yep, there's a Miami 3, but you go to Alabama, you was 8. You get what I'm saying? You have to take your free talent somewhere. And I mean this in all respect. I'm a suburban kid. And I've been in rooms where people, I'm just suburban bland to them. And that's okay. There's some other suburban bland and me and that person gonna go somewhere and sit down. That's just how that is though. Right? This flash and this attraction to this hood culture has got a lot of people living very chaotic lives. They're not saving anything. They're just living for the moment. They're just going out the seat of their pants, doing crazy activities. Right? So you need to figure out your special sauce. It may not be height. You may not be a good looking man. You may not be making all the most money, but you need to know something. You need to be either reading some books or be able to educate somebody on something. If you're a woman, you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses. You don't need nobody online to tell you. I joke all the time. I go to Houston if I want to get to holler in the parking lot. Hey girl, I see you. You know where you're strong at and where you're not strong at. Okay. So, well, and that's the thing, Alshaw. Everybody keeps acting like this is so good that people leave California, but you need to pay attention who's leaving. It's not the poor. It's the most talented people. When your best and your brightest are leaving, that's a sign. That's a sign. This is the people are telling you this lie that, oh, everybody I know staying in California. No, the best and the brightest are leaving. When HP is leaving, the company that kicked off the whole Silicon Valley craze, that's not good. That's not good. People are trying to play you like this is good. This is good. This is good. That's a brain drain. Right now, when people see Panamanians, and this is just an example, people go, and I'm gonna say this for Belize and Panama, but mostly Panama. When you go to Panama, depending on where you go, it's very, very dark-skinned women, darker than me, even with curly hair like mine, and people are like, "Oh, they're Panamanian." Yes, they are. They're Panamanian. Every time our family would go, and I think we hit about 7 times, people speaking Spanish to us, and we like, no, no, a little bit of no, and they start talking English. Some of them talk English. But what happened to Panama in the 70s and the 80s is when that Panama Canal situation and America started to leave that area, people got tired of being, I'm gonna be careful here, dark-skinned Panamanians not treated well, but they were a doctor or they were a lawyer. So when they gave the United States gave the opportunity for Panamanians who wanted to bounce could bounce with them, you had a brain drain leave that country like no other. They still have not recovered in some parts of Panama from how many doctors, lawyers, and nurses left who were this color of my shirt, dark, and left that country, was like, peace out. I'd rather, instead of being a Panamanian 4, I'm going to go to America and be a 10. I'm going to go to America and be a black doctor. I'm going to go to America and be a Panamanian. They love telling you they from Panama. I'm going to go over there and do this. I'm going to start anew in a new place. And that's what some of y'all need. Y'all need to start anew in a new place. But going overseas to feel good about yourself, that's a low self-esteem issue, brother. That's a low self-esteem issue. If you got to go somewhere where people, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so amazing. You're the best. Brother, that's something with you. That's something with you. You know what I mean? So again, I'm sorry. So part of why this came up on my mind is I was looking at these like websites that some of these, like I've drove around town and some of the places that I've seen been up for years. They're struggling, and they, the fact of it is they are putting up these websites and doing all this stuff, but it's last minute. Right, we're over here on this end of the spectrum talking about how Facebook and Google is doing all these things, and Instagram, honestly, are doing all these things coming up in a few days, around the 21st and 23rd. I'm trying to be careful. Where if you've been in the game for years, especially even Alex Becker, who got sick of YouTube, like, I'm not even doing YouTube no more. Came out on YouTube, was like, oh my God, the OS system changed. It knocked all our ad tracking off, and all these things that are a little bit deeper level than most. Old girl and old boy over here who has this business where they've just kind of been really treating it like a hustle, and people coming in and out, them now just getting on the internet, is it a prime example of what I'm talking about? That they didn't realize that time was going to pass them by. Even though you have something special, if no one knows what the special sauce is and you can't reach them, that's a problem. Do you see what I'm saying? AI show, if you really believe that, honey, then you're really not reading Forbes and Bloomberg. You're losing some of the biggest and best companies in the world right now. So if you believe that, like, we're on a whole different level then. I'm just put it like you'll always have poor leave somewhere. But if you're not really paying attention to tea leaves and the conferences I just saw pop up on the schedule in Texas and on the schedule in Florida, I can't help you. If you really believe that, like, we're in like 2 different worlds. I'm being real honest, like, literally. And so just some of the stuff I saw. But you got to know where your special sauce is. You got to know what your calling is. You got to know, like, sometimes you'll see people doing these YouTube channels, and as they're doing reviews and they're doing stuff, you want to tell them, brother, that's not your special sauce. You could go talk about this and make more money. Right? And that's the difference. You see some people who are really shining, and like, I'm trying to be careful, but I want you to understand, I don't want you to be like these businesses out here finally coming out here trying to show your special sauce and not even giving a good foot forward. Right? I went on somebody's Yelp the other day. This business has been a business for 10 years, and I was like, hey girl, I'm gonna take a picture and put it on your Yelp. And the mom in the restaurant was like, oh, okay, thanks. And her daughter was like, thank you so much. I was like, oh yeah. So I took pictures and I put it on the Yelp because the daughter realized you need that. Now, there's a few restaurants in town that are, and a Fayetteville wins international awards. We've won Duplin Wines, won French and international awards for the wine. You've had restaurants here win international Thai and Asian food cuisine awards. You've had some places win awards, and you're like, oh my God, that's crazy in Fayetteville. But they know what their special sauce is, and they've either had children or people stop by the restaurant who told other people what their special sauce is. So those people don't have a problem with traffic, but you shouldn't wait till you don't have traffic at your business to be like, man, I better figure out what was wrong. Okay, got to figure out what's wrong here. Do you know what I'm saying? That's crazy how New York's going through mass gentrification. See, that's the thing, Dumas. People are always moving, right? So the person who was in a broker area sees the opportunity to gentrify and move to this other area. They're going to do it regardless. Your drain of people is going to drain either way. Ohio has a huge brain drain. I think I think the state of North Carolina got 6,000 nurses out of Ohio. I was like, if we took 6,000 nurses, and Ohio's got a great medical system in Cleveland. Their medicals, that's a whole nother story. But then what happened in Ohio? If y'all lost 6,000 nurses, you know, what's going on with your state, right? So that's one thing. Or LeBron even left twice. I mean, again, he had to go where he's shining. But I just want y'all to understand, like, as I'm going and seeing some of these businesses like finally get the light bulb come on, like, oh, we need an online presence. Oh, we need a way to reach people, right? Even now there's articles being written against Uber Eats and what's that other popular one? Other than Uber Eats is like DoorDash and something. When the restaurants start realizing like we're giving 30% off the profits to these websites so that we can be on there. Oh no, we need to get a website right now. We need to get an app right now. Even though having an app is like 10 years old at this point, right? It's really 15. But many of these companies just figured out, oh, we better get an app. We better sell our own food. We better have our own click, you know. And I think people use toast.com for that. Yeah, Grubhub, Postmates, all these companies are taking 30% of these people's money. And they're like, oh, no. So now everything that your young person in the family is telling you about getting a website makes sense. Now, just having somebody answer the phone to take down orders doesn't make as much sense anymore. You're moving into new technology and new conversations, right? I love when my aunts try to call me over to fix something on the computer. I'm like, no, I'm not that type of technical computer person. I have to tell them all the time. I'm like, no, I don't do the computer thing. I do the promotion on the computer, but I don't do the computer thing. And it's funny trying to explain that to them every time. It's just crazy. You have one aunt that does great with the computers. But I want you to write it down today. If you have a business or you have an ideal of something you want to sell in the next year, what is the best location for you to be in? I need you to say that just being honest, right? And some of you can't leave. You got families, you got this. Hey, Eric, I'm just not leaving. But it may just be a better house in a better neighborhood, right? Okay. And then on top of that, if you have a business, what is special about your business, right? And if you really want to go deep on spiritual, what's special about you? That's all. What's special about you? That's all. That's all I'm saying. Ohio didn't deserve him. Hey, that's what people say. You are going to see a revival of app and development because they have no choice. A lot of these businesses, when I went and talked, there's one place, this has been here for 30 years. An Italian family owns it. It's been here, Greek family. There's a big Greek population here in Fayetteville. I saw their website. It looked like somebody just put that thing up yesterday. It was the craziest thing I ever seen. I'm like, y'all been in business 30 years. There's no reason for this to look like this. Like, the expectation has to be better. And then I finally saw they put new pictures on the website. And I'm like, it looked like somebody took pictures of dry sandwiches. I was like, y'all, somebody's got to come in and help, okay? Because this should be better than this. But that's just how it is. A lot of these people don't do it till it's the last minute type of thing. So they're forced to change. So they're forced to have better health, I saw Rick Ross. It was a thing on Amazon talking about, or Instagram, where Rick Ross is like, "What's the point of getting all this business, all this money, and you drop dead of a stroke? You drop dead of a heart attack. What's the point of that? That's no way to live. You gotta be better. You can't wait till you're pushed to be better. And getting on this internet and getting up to snuff is where it's at. That's just the point blank of it. I have a friend whose father is a coach, a football coach, and he's coached at some of the biggest freaking schools in the nation. I think 17 different colleges at this point. And he came into the era after the big money. It's like after the big money, right? Now, what do I mean? Like 1950s and 60s and 1970s. Well, now 1990s and 2000s, when they start paying these coaches this big money, the older coaches are at the back end of life and they're not going to get the big money. Why? Because they didn't market themselves well. They're not marketing that they have this experience, they have this collection of knowledge that they can come and give these schools. Because again, every school can't afford multi-million-dollar coaches. So guess what? Some of these smaller schools are going to get these smaller, older coaches. But guess what? They still have to market themselves on why this school, even though it's smaller, needs to pay them more. Right? Something someone told me is whenever somebody comes in a job, ask them what they made at their last job and just pay them a little bit more. And I laughed. Right? I don't know. I have to ask Stephanie if that's even legal with HR rules. But but that's just it. Now you have these coaches that have been in the system for 40 freaking years, and they're an older, experienced coach who has quality to give these schools, but they don't market themselves well. And if they actually tell the companies, I only made this in my last coaching job, why should that school pay you crazy money? So it's a little bit of a trap. Ohio's been bleeding out for decades. Yeah. Oh, I saw it. Well, even that's the thing about the car industry. Ohio has a bunch of like manufacturing steel. But if you're waiting on a manufacturing job in 2021, I would slap you. If I was your family and I was depending on you to bring money home to our house, nah, we can't play those games. You have to do something else. Right now I'm in an app called My Virtual Kitchen. Now I use a lot of Middleman to Millions course to build structure and business model. Congratulations. There's an app called Okra app, Eat at Okra. It's made by Black people, and it basically they go around calling every Black business in America and ask do they want to be put on their directory essentially. And nothing's free, of course, but um I was like tagging a company the other day and they were like, "Hey, thanks for tagging us." And I really wanted to go, "I found you off this app talking about Black restaurants, not your Facebook page, not your Yelp. You didn't come up on any of those things. You came up on this app." All right. How many people are willing to make these changes though? They'll have no choice. It's kind of like it's one of those things where um it's one of those things where I talk to people and they're like, "Hey, my rent went from, this girl was saying her rent in some part of California went from 800 to 1,600." And it basically was like a new owner came in, their leases were all up, and they didn't want to really renew them. So they had these crazy prices on there saying they had to do some kind of construction. And I was like, if they're doing that in California, which I've seen them do it in Austin, where they had Section 8, basically income adjusted apartments, took that model away, like completely. Like everybody else, Section 8, they was getting them out of there. They're like, "Oh, we can transfer you to this and such and such housing." But the Section 8 is no longer something about they were no longer under the guidelines of some kind of program. And they were saying, "Hey, the next rent is going to be this." Girl, people cleared out of that place so fast, it didn't make no sense. Your head could spin how fast people were getting out of there. What's going to happen is a lot of these people are saying they forced us out, Erica. Really is, I had no strategy preparation for taxes. I had no strategy to prepare for my roof. I had no, again, it takes 20 years before you need a roof. And you'll talk to people and they ain't save no money for it. It'll take 10 plus years for you need an AC unit. You always talk to people and they had no money saved for it. Right? So again, a lot of these people are going to be forced. They're going to be literally at knuckles against your face having to make changes. Right? So all these SAP jobs are looking for people because they are retiring. Put in what SAP is. Man, Mumu Ali said the poor whites are the most stubborn in Ohio. They sitting at home waiting for a job to come and factories reopen. I mean, here's the thing. Like, Donald Trump said some things that are accurate, and I do feel we'll have some manufacturing come back. I've been seeing what's happening in Texas, but even in Dallas, I'm meeting people in Dallas where a lot of the factories left the Midwest and came to Texas. Guys are stubborn, like, man, it's hard to get a job paying more than $14 an hour. And I'm like, what do you do? Forklift operator. Baby, how much do you think we should be paying forklift operators? Like, that's usually what I want to say next, but I don't. I just listen to it because that guy has gotten accustomed to being in a warehouse. That's what he wants to do. He hasn't really looked for other job opportunities, or they usually I'll hear a guy want to be a manager over the floor of the warehouse. And I'm like, for what? Well, to manage people. And then I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to move where that is, where there's an opportunity, because let's be really clear. And he may see this and I'm not worried about it. John Henry is talking about, he left the other capital company and now he's making an insurance company. Well, I already told y'all, and I get it. Y'all don't always hear me on this channel. $30 million wealth transfer is happening over the next 8 years. 30% of that is going to be family offices. What is a family office you can think of right now? Insurance. Most insurance companies, huge money. They have their sons and their daughters and their sons and their daughters and sons and daughters. I work with a trucking insurance company where the whole family works there. There's only 2 cousins in the family that actually are like insurance agents. Everybody else is just working in some capacity in the insurance office. Somebody does sales, somebody does commission, somebody does phone, somebody does customer service. This is very common. So what's the real special sauce in that family? The 2 cousins who are the insurance agents who recruit all these people. And that gives work to the whole family, right? So again, some of these companies that are considered family offices, they will get 30% of that money that's moving. Trust me. And people can say, where can I go look at the website? Where can I go look at this data? Where can I? You can look at this data everywhere. This is public data. This is public knowledge. A lot of the stuff I'm getting that's refined, top level stuff is because I'm paying $1,000 to $5,000 to be in trainings and be in seminars and take my staff. Even this year, we have about $20,000 in training and higher level seminars and meetings I'll be in. That's how I know this data. That's how I'm on the tip of the spear of some of this data I give to y'all, because I'm paying money, and 2, I'm being in the room to be a person who's going to have their pen on paper. Does that make sense? So again, what's your special sauce? Because that whole, like, I get every time I just live an average life. And there's a couple books talking about just be happy, that you got somebody. Y'all can cook dinner together. Just be happy with that. Right? And for some of y'all, that is your future. But I can tell you, there's a book called Average is Over. You can't be average in every angle, right? You may be average in the face and the body, and that's fine, but you better have some mind up here. You better have some money in that pocket. You better have some kind of business plan. Something I love about military towns, a lot of guys hate that their approximate pay. They hate that. Like, I could bring on a couple different military people and they're like, I hate that. I hate that people think they're going to guess how much I get paid. And I would hate it too, right? But that's why when you talk to them, or you go on dates, or you just interact at clubs, wherever, when you meet them, they always tell you about their plan they have when they get out the military. It's like clockwork. It's like clockwork. It's like you'll meet a guy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get my engineering. Da, da, da. Like, they always have some kind of say to tell you what they're planning on doing after they get out the military. And that's a person trying to sell you on their special sauce. Girl, I'm not just like all these other guys that are fitting and shaping in these great outfits, these great uniforms. I have a plan, right? And that's how I need some of y'all to be. Y'all need to be like some of these military guys. Like, girl, I got a plan. Let me tell you about it. Y'all need to be that proactive in telling people what your plan is. SAP systems, applications, and products. Thank you. Dealerships and funeral homes. Yes, it wears me out. Forklift operator, better move to Amazon. I'm in Toledo, Ohio. All we have here is Chrysler. And Cheyenne, that's the thing. Y'all have internet. You don't just have the Chrysler brand. You have internet, but that's going to require you completely pulling out the mindset of the plant and going, how can I get on this laptop and get paid? And I'm just saying a low number, $15 an hour for my 40 hours a week. What office do I need to create in my home that my children, my grandma, my uncle, Amy, and them can't just come in there any time of the day and harass me? What's funny now, when I come home to Fayetteville and I sit in my family's house, it's in an open space, but they'll come by like, you on the computer? You on the computer? Okay. And they walk by because they've all been trained for 7 years now. Don't bother Erica when she's on the computer. Don't come in here talking loud. Erica could be on the computer. Don't do this because Erica could be on the computer. And it's funny because it takes a minute for people to learn that, but you have to do that. Tam, no Cash App, no Yelp, cash only, no website, no pics. Yeah, that stuff drives me crazy. Other day, and then this is so crazy. We went to Cookout, y'all. It is a franchise, it is a chain, and something happened to their system, or they locked the safe on accident. Probably one of their young managers, and was like, "Oh, we can only take debit card." I was like, "What? We can only take debit card?" And I was in the line, and people were just pulling out of the line because they were telling them, "We can't take no cash right now. We're gonna take debit cards, credit cards," and people were just pulling out the line, pulling out the line. I'm like, y'all, you just lost hundreds and hundreds of dollars of business. You can't run businesses like that. And that's why I say a lot of y'all underestimate when people say, "Oh, businesses close all the time." No, people with a hustle and they don't know how to market and advertise and run systems, they close all the time. That's just the difference, right? A lot of y'all are saying, "Oh, businesses don't have enough cash." No, it's how they manage it. It's how they manage it. A lot of these companies don't have a ton of debt. There's a ton of free tech. In Cleveland, there are people trying to make a blockchain hub and have 100 blockchain professionals. Hey, there you go. It's starting. But I had to just do this one because I hear people all the time uh, talking crazy online, just talking crazy. That's just out of this world. They're just saying things for attention. And I kind of laugh when I hear them. I'm like, baby, stop talking like that. You don't act like that in person. Um, Careful. That they don't know their special sauce. That's all. They just don't know their special sauce, and they can't write it down on a piece of paper right now if you ask them to tell them. Right? So the free agent lifestyle isn't just, yeah, I ain't never get married. I ain't never moving in with a woman. What that person's telling you is, I'll never be economically viable enough to care for a family or buy a house. I do not want the personal responsibility to care for more than myself. I just want to make enough money to eat food and hook up and play video games. Y'all, that's just as bad as a thought. That's uselessness. If you don't have utility in our society, that's a scary place to be. I just want you to understand that. The real word of free agent is moving where you can have the best money, financial opportunities. Everybody's trying to avoid the big thing in the room, which is economics. Oh, yeah, it's because I'm short. It's because I'm a short man. She's not giving me a chance. It's because of this and that. No, you're making up every excuse in the world to the big thing in the room is, what is your special sauce? Tom Brady could have took $2 and went to Tampa and still killed it like he's killing it right now. It's because he's the special sauce. His demeanor, how he talks, he's the special sauce. Does that make sense, you guys? Shine Brown. Yes, I still offer consultation calls. You can click the links under the video, or we'll put it in the comment section. Apple never marketed a computer, but a lifestyle. Thank you. Dumas, even to this day, when people go, "Erica, why do you keep getting HP computers and these other type of computers?" Because Apple's not that special. If you're just into video and marketing, great. Yeah, do that. But a lot of other computers do a lot of other things. Their special sauce was lifestyle. Oh man, listen, a lot of people are saying, so I put on my Facebook about people are like, "Oh, there's no affordable housing, Erica. There's just no affordable housing." And I go, "Well, yeah, you can get $150,000. Oh, the neighborhoods are terrible, the schools are terrible, everything's so terrible." And I go, "Well, here's the conundrum. Either you need to make more money, or you need to realize where you make financially puts you in that neighborhood." "Oh, Erica, no, my kids are gonna have better." Well, if in order for your kids to have better, you have to make better. You have to invest better. You have to do better. That's the thing people really don't want to hear, but that's the real talk of this. There's money to be made for folks that don't want kids and earn money. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that just people are really missing out on it. Um, but again, write down your special sauce. What's your special sauce plan? Because if you don't know it, man, it's dangerous. Again, Cam Newton, people may make fun of him. He had the special sauce. He's on the decline of it. But it's the attitude, it's the willingness to go wherever is what is going to keep him. He'll get on another team. He just won't be a starter anymore. Tom Brady is the special sauce. Bill Belichick knows it, right? So let's just keep it in this house of this. Bill Belichick, I'm saying his crazy name crazy, and Nick Saban are two coaches that we hold up as the best coaches in the world. But really, if you look at the long-term trajectory of this, it will be Nick Saban that has the history of being the best coach in the world, right? Because if I keep bringing in the special sauce, which are the children that he brings to the school that play the sport, and I put them in the same setup every season, say what you will about it, it's the same setup. I get the same exact muscular black guys, the same exact fast running black guys, and some white guys, and I keep going the same kids in the same route, and I keep being successful, right? The special sauce is Nick Saban because the program is already there. Hey, you want to go to NFL? Yes, sir, I want to go. Oh, come to my school. Okay, great. That's the special sauce. That's the sale. That just is what it is, right? Why are people coming to Texas? Because the special sauce is we got cheap rent, and I can get a job, and I can start over. What is Atlanta special sauce? It's hopping like a nightclub down there. I can start over. What's Florida special sauce? It's sunny all the time sunny, and the rent's cheap. It's a special sauce, man. You got to know what your special sauce is. That's why when I hear people in the comments like, "Oh, I moved here and it was terrible," baby, it's not the city, it's you. Everywhere you go, you're with you. So come on, talk to me now. You know what I mean? HP is more than the business. I'm telling you. And again, people with the Apple iPhones and stuff like, stop. Exactly. Once you know your special sauce, you can build a system around it. Bingo, bingo. 49ers had a system. Yeah, they had one. Um, so don't get discouraged. I don't want to ever do these shows and be like, oh, you're crapping on people's dreams and hopes and all this stuff like that. Like, that's not the point of me doing these shows. The point of doing these shows is I want you to wake up and realize some of us are into the system, the matrix, or whatever you want to call it, and we see the writing on the wall, how things are going to change in this country. And I'm telling you, if you're not getting, I mean, even when you see Roberto Blake doing a video on social media, is over. Like the free advertising of your business is it's over. It's been over about 5 years, but it's the power of it now is less. Right? It's just like these restaurants here in Fayetteville when people are running around trying to get that free traffic and word of mouth and go tell your cousin to come over here to Buddy's and all this stuff. Like, we're here now. We're here at the era of the computer. We're here at the era where you have to have this online presence. We're here where you have to have the Yelp up. You can't just do whatever. Word of mouth it. Like, you have to actually have a business. Right? So that's kind of where we are. So anyways, this is your girl Erica, Class Clown Blog. Later this week I have my friend Lane Kalawasi on, the guy I went to go to Panama, Belize with to see the cacao beans and the coffee farm. We'll be talking about apartments, mobile homes. I'll have several other people on this week that are just going to kill it with really great information. So you guys bring your questions, bring your best mindset, because I'm bringing on some of the really top tier people who are really making millions. And it's just funny because I'm bringing you people who the door could be just open to all kind of opportunities. Yes, the ability to adjust to current situations will make or break your business. Yeah, worldwide you're accurate, but that's what you're seeing. You're seeing businesses at the last minute throw up some websites and try to throw up some apps and try to catch traffic, something they should have been doing all along. You know? Royster, he's closed on 18 different buildings last year. So they closed on apartments, hotels, all of it. But yeah, Who Moved My Cheese is a good book for that reason. So cheese is moved. Let's figure it out. Let's move with the cheese. All right, you guys, this is your girl Erica from the Classic Line blog. Thank you for being here. Later this week, again, apartment syndications. Man, got a couple other things coming up. We'll probably talk more on the PPP inside of the rise of 20%, just because I don't want to be out here in this internet drawing that type of traffic, and talk about ways that you're going to see probably a third PPP come through. Only reason I'm saying this is because I'm looking at the projections of Q2 and Q3 and Q4 for 2021, and all of a sudden, a lot of the movie executives moved their movies to 2022. So if you're an actor and you did a movie in 2019, 2018, and it's now going to come out in 2022, you're stuck still promoting this movie in that 2022, and there's a reason for it. So I just want you guys to pay attention to that. That some people are moving things to 2022. So what does that tell you is going to happen for 2021? You know, we have a new president. There's some things that have been adjusted. So anyways, Sugar Erica, later.